rate measure is another application for the derivatives. Okay, see, actually related to this rate measure we mentioned you at the first class of derivatives only. Okay, at derivatives we discuss different definitions for derivatives. Okay, mathematical definition, geometrical definition, and graphical approach. See, we discuss the derivative in different ways, and one of the way is this rate measure concept. Okay, actually first point of this rate measure, if a quantity is changing from x1 to x2, okay, change in x is usually represented as delta x. In the same way, change in y is also represented as delta y. Okay, what you say about rate of change in y with respect to x? Rate of change in y with respect to x is simply nothing but rate of change in y with respect to x means change in y for unit change in x. If there is a change in x for one unit, then what you say about change in y? That is considered as rate of change in y with respect to x, and this is simply delta y by delta x. I think you all know it. We already discussed it at derivatives only. This is rate of change in y with respect to x. And now instantaneous rate of change or rate of change at a moment. Okay, instantaneous rate of change, instantaneous rate of change. Instantaneous rate of change is simply nothing but discussing the change in y for very small change in x. If there is a small change in x, that means limit delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta x is considered as the instantaneous rate of change, and this we noted it as dy by dx, and we learnt everything at the derivatives itself. Okay, from there we concluded that rate of change or instantaneous rate of change at a point. Instantaneous rate of change at a point. Since we are mentioning rate of change at a point, that means at a point in its neighborhood we need to discuss the change in y with respect to change in x, and it is notated as dy by dx at the point P. Okay, and now this rate of change at a point dy by dx at P is usually nothing but rate measure. This rate of change is usually nothing but rate measure. Okay, now rate measure at P is simply nothing but dy by dx at P. Okay, and for this what we need initially we need a function y is equals to f of x, and in this function as x is changing, y automatically will change, and we know that here x is considered as independent variable and y is dependent variable. With respect to change in x, y automatically will change. That change in x and change in y are represented as delta x and delta y. Delta y by delta x is the rate of change, and this is the instantaneous rate of change, which is nothing but the derivative, and that derivative at a point is the rate measure at a point P. Okay, using this we will generate this. See, using this idea we use this concept of rate measure in different day-to-day life examples and situations, and we solve different problems. First of all, have a look. So as we discussed, dy by dx is simply nothing but rate of change in y with respect to change in x, right? Rate of change in y with respect to x, and dx by dt is nothing but the same way, rate of change in x with respect to t, and that is dx by dt. This is dy by dx. Okay. For suppose if dy by dx, if dy by dx is greater than 0, what will happen? And if it is equals to 0, what will happen? And if it is less than 0, what it means? If dy by dx is less than 0, then as x increases, y also increases. So that implies dy by dx greater than 0 means y increases along with x. Always, as we are discussing differentiation and calculus, always we will treat x in an increasing manner. Always x values will increase. Based on that x, now we are analyzing the change in y. So, along with the increase of x, if y also increases, then you get dy by dx as positive quantity, and we say that y is increasing. Right? We learned it at increasing and decreasing functions. If dy by dx is less than 0, y is decreasing, right? As x is increasing, y is decreasing. If dy by dx is equals to 0, there is no change in y. According to the rate of change concept, we have to say that no change in y. Okay, if dy by dx is equals to 0. This is something about we need to know about dy by dx, and you just note down this in first point. Now as a second point, I gave you a problem here. Look at the problem. A point P is on y is equals to 2x square. I have a curve. Y is equals to 2x square. And a point P is on that curve. X coordinate of the point increases at 4 units per second. Then find rate at which y coordinate increases at 2, 8. Okay. We just try to analyze the question. See, y is equals to 2x square, and we need to think about change in x with respect to change in y. That means x coordinate is increasing for 4 units per second, and we need to calculate the change in y coordinate with respect to time again at a point 2, 8. See, clearly 2, 8 is a point on the graph. Is it right? You just check it. If replace x with 2, 2 square is 4, 4 2s is 8. So 2, 8 is a point on the graph of this y is equals to 2x square. So at that particular point, we are just checking the rate of change in x as well rate of change in y with respect to time. Okay. Here they are mentioning that, yeah, a point P is on y is equals to x square. X coordinate of P increases at 4 units per second. Here as the given, x coordinate with respect to time is changing. Okay. Initially, if you take that point as some x comma y, as per this given problem, dx by dt is given as 4 units. Okay. And now we need to calculate change in y. What you say about dy by dt? Okay. At the point 2, 8 again. So dx by dt is given. Dy by dt we need to find. Okay. Right. I am erasing this. Given curve equation is y is equals to 2x square. You just differentiate it with respect to t. dv by dt is equals to 2 into, what is the derivative for x square? For x square it is 2x, and since we are differentiating with respect to t, into dx by dt we need to write. And now dy by dt is equals to 4x into dx by dt. Our target is to find dy by dt at the point 2, 8. Since our target is to find dy by dt at the point 2, 8, at that 2, 8, what is x is 2, what is y 8. So now this implies dy by dt is equals to 4 into x is 2, because at the point 2, 8, dx by dt is 4 as they given. And now if you calculate, this is 32. 4 into 4 is 62, is 32. So dy by dt is 32. So on this curve, in the surroundings of 2, 8, if x is changing at 4 units per second, then y value will change at 32 units per second. In 1 second, if there is a change of 4 units in x coordinate, then if you observe, there will be a change of 32 seconds, 32 units in 1 second for y coordinate. Okay, just analyze the problem. Everything is based on this dy by dx and dx by dt. As the question is saying, x coordinate of p increases at 4 units per second. What is the x coordinate of p? Actually, here you need to take p as x comma y on the curve. So x coordinate is x, so dx by dt is 4. Our target is to find the rate at which y is increasing. Y coordinate is increasing. Here y coordinate is y, so we need to find dy by dt. But at the point 2 comma 8. Now how to generate dy by dt? Since the given curve is y is equals to 2x square, just differentiate it. We have dy by dt as 32. There is the problem. Okay. So all these problems, you just first of all try to analyze the problem and try to use the given rate of change to find the required rate of change. That's it. Have a look. Now the next point, third point, related to the rate of change. See, very usual regular application is velocity and acceleration. We are very familiar with the words. Velocity is the rate of change in displacement. So velocity is considered as ds by dt. Rate of change in displacement. Okay, displacement by time is the velocity. And if this rate of change in displacement ds by dt greater than 0, which indicates that displacement is increasing with time, and if it is less than 0, that indicates that displacement is decreasing with time. Whereas if it is 0, then it represents that either the maximum value of s or direction change. Okay, for example, if we are changing our direction in our journey, okay, at that particular instant, our rate of change in displacement will be 0. While changing direction at an instant, velocity will become 0. So if velocity is 0, that indicates that maximum distance covered or direction change of the journey. Okay. In the same way, acceleration is the rate of change in velocity with respect to time. So acceleration is dv by dt. Again, if this acceleration is greater than 0, which indicates that velocity increasing with time. If it is less than 0, decrement of the velocity with respect to time. And if acceleration is less than 0, we call it as retardation. I think you are familiar with the word retardation. It means negative acceleration. Okay. Again, if the acceleration is 0, that in turn represents that maximum velocity. Okay. So these are very regular terms of physics, and now based on that I am going to solve this particular problem. Okay. What is the problem? A particle path is given by s is equals to t square plus 2t plus 3. What it is? It generates the path of the particle. In 1 second, what is the distance traveled by the particle? In 2 seconds, what is the distance, or you may say displacement traveled by the particle? Okay. By taking t with 1 and t with 2, t with 3, you will get different values, and all those results represents the distance covered by that particle. Okay. Now, with this relation between distance and time, we need to calculate the velocity of the particle as well as acceleration of the particle at t is equals to 3. After 3 seconds, what is the velocity? Or in the neighborhood of 3 seconds, what is the velocity of the particle? And in the neighborhood of 3 seconds, what is the acceleration of the particle? That's what we need to find. Okay. From point to point, from time to time, velocity will change as well as acceleration also change. The question is about finding velocity and acceleration at t is equals to 3. Okay. If it is at 5, at t is equals to 5, the values may be different. Okay. If at t is equals to 7, the values are still different. From time to time, from point to point, velocity and acceleration will change, right? And now I am going to erase this. First of all, we need to find velocity as well as the acceleration. We have the rule that velocity is equals to ds by dt, as well acceleration is equals to dy by dt. We need to use these two. Okay? As velocity is equals to ds by dt, rate of change in displacement with respect to time. So d by dt of s is simply t square plus 2t plus 3. This is simply nothing but derivative of t square is 2t and derivative of 2t is 2, and for 3 it is 0. So velocity is 2t plus 2 depending on the value of t. The question is about finding velocity at t is equals to 3, and that velocity is 2 into 3 plus 2, that is equals to 8 units per second. Okay, as per the problem, velocity is 8 units per second. Now what you say about the acceleration? Acceleration is equals to dv by dt. So d by dt of dv by dt is 2t plus 2. And if you differentiate, what is the derivative of 2? It is 0, and for 2t it is 2. So acceleration is 2 units per second square at t is equals to 3. Since it is a constant value, acceleration at t is equals to 3 is again 2 only. Okay, numerically it is 2, and if you mention the units according to the problem, according to the options, we need to go. Okay, have a look. So now the next words are angular velocity and angular acceleration. I think you are so familiar with these words, okay, than me, right? Because you are regularly in physics you face these words like angular velocity and angular acceleration. For suppose if the curve is moving, okay, in a if a particle is moving on a curve like this, if this is the x-axis initial ray like OX and a point P is there here, and the angle made by this OP with this OX is some theta, right? Then time to time the particle will move on the curve, as well angle also will changes here. Time to time the particle will move, as well time to time the angle also will changes. Then angular velocity is simply nothing but angle by the time, change in angle by change in time, and which is given as omega is equals to d theta by dt. As well angular acceleration is angular velocity by time, which is change in angular velocity by time, and d omega by dt, d square theta by dt square. So these two are the words angular velocity and angular acceleration, and which is connected to angle with the time. Okay, and now I have a problem here. The angle theta turned by a flywheel at a time t is given by theta is equals to 9000 t minus 3t square. Then flywheel comes to rest after a time of, that's what we need to find. Flywheel comes to rest. Whenever flywheel comes to rest, if the velocity is 0, then we say that it is coming to rest. Since the question is about whenever flywheel comes to rest. At rest, velocity is 0, and here since we are discussing about angular velocity d theta by dt is equals to 0. Theta is given here 9000 t minus 3t square and its derivative. For 9000 t, differentiation is 9000 minus 3t square, which is 60, is equals to 0. From there, if you calculate t is equals to 16 15 is 90, so 1500 we will get. At a t is equals to 15 seconds, 1500 seconds, or after a time of 1500 seconds, the flywheel comes to rest according to the problem. Okay, have a look. Then our answer is 1500 seconds. For previous problem, for the third point, we discussed about velocity and acceleration, where usually we connect distance covered with the time. Here for angular velocity and angular acceleration, here we will connect angle changed with respect to time. Okay, there is a relation between s and t. Here there is a relation between theta and t. Based on that, since the particle or the flywheel comes to rest, velocity, angular velocity is 0, d theta by dt is 0. From there t is equals to 1500 seconds. Have a look. Look at the board. Next type and next category related to the rate and pressure. For example, a curve is given in terms of t. So usually we call it as parametric curves. Okay. Already we learned parametric differentiation, parametric forms, parametric curves. Okay. And here see x and y are not connected directly. X is connected with respect to time. Y is also connected with respect to time. Okay. X and y are functions with respect to time. In this case, velocity ds by dt is simply square root of f dash t whole square plus g dash of t whole square, and acceleration is second derivative whole square plus second derivative whole square for the functions f and t. See, one more thing, x is f of t and y is g of t. Okay, right. X is a function in terms of t with f, and y is another function g in terms of t. Okay, so there first derivatives, sum of the squares of first derivatives, sum of the squares of second derivatives under the square root represent acceleration. Now we just go with the problem. The equations of the motion of a particle x comma y on a plane curve is given by x is equals to root 5 cos t, y is equals to root 5 sin t, and the question is about finding velocity of that particle. As I said, see here x and y are not connected directly. These two are connected with respect to the parameter t. Then in this case, velocity is given by the formula root of f dash t whole square plus g dash of t whole square. Okay, f dash of t means what? Actually f dash of t means derivative of x with respect to t. I also write it like dx by dt whole square, and g dash of t is nothing but derivative of y with respect to t. So we have a chance to write in such way. Df dash of t is dx by dt, g dash of t is dy by dt, Under the square root, sum of the squares of these two will give us velocity. And now, as a part of solution, this is equals to square root of what to say about dx by dt. Derivative of x with respect to t for the problem. Here x is given as root 5 cos t. Root 5 is a constant. For cos t, the derivative is minus sin t. So dx by dt is minus root 5 sin t and its whole square plus dy by dt. Here y is root 5 sin t. Root 5 is constant, and for sin t the derivative is cos t. So dy by dt is root 5 cos t whole square. We need to simplify. This is equals to minus square is plus root 5 square is 5 sin square t plus, and that is 5 cos square t. Just common out 5, and we know sin square t plus cos square t is 1. You left with root 5, and root 5 is our velocity for this problem. Okay, just have a look. So if x and y are not connected and they are connected through parametric quantity some t, then velocity and acceleration are, we found those two using these relations. Okay, have a look. You just try to solve this simple problem. Okay, solve it and mention your answer, right? And in this class we learnt basic idea related to the rate measure, and in the next class I will handle different problems related to this rate measure. Okay.